given access to receive messages of clarity, guidance, and love. As channeler, psychotherapist, and author, Noemi Grace has an intimate dialogue with the divine on your behalf. Lisa Berry intuitively listens and expresses the deep questions on people's hearts and elevates the conversation, while Noemi Grace channels divine wisdom and expansive answers to your deepest questions. Each show's themes are related to self-love, self-healing, relationships, and personal struggles, offers tools that will lead to sacred stability and help you find your best solutions. Join us now as we give you access to angels and grace. Welcome everybody, and happy Love Valentine's Day, however you're celebrating. Hi, Noemi.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Happy Love Day. And it's, to me, this day is a reminder to don't forget self-love. You know, it's so focused on love of other, but it's a great opportunity to be more aware of self-love and really embracing that and giving ourselves the love that we deserve, that sometimes we are too busy or too judgmental or whatever. You know, we're not in self-love in our relationship with ourselves. So it's a beautiful time to remember how important that is.
It is. And that includes gentleness, forgiveness, compassion for ourselves and others. And that's a beautiful way of expressing that. Just go, I'm going to be a little more gentle with myself today.
And kindness. Kindness, you know.
Yes.
That's the one that always stands out for me. Well, can I be kind rather than with myself?
Yes.
You know?
Well, funny how you mentioned kindness, and then the next word I have to say is ditch. But we're going to be today we're going to be talking about ditching the imposter story and embracing your true self. And I just thought that was hilarious. I was like, you were going to ditch it in a kind way, because it's out of kindness that we are ditching this imposter story.
Absolutely. You know, self-kindness is such to me, it was a few years ago, there was a request for stories for a book about kindness. And they said, especially, we're missing some about self-kindness. And I thought, can I tell a story about self-kindness? I don't know that I can. It was like, I mean, yes, I've been kind to myself on the way, but I didn't have a story to tell. And I then committed to being more kind to myself, just on a daily basis, not having this big old story about it, but just to be able to be kind, gentle, accepting.
And the reasons why we sometimes aren't not able to do that is because we can either feel like an imposter doing those kind things to ourselves, because we're not comfortable with it, or to offer kindness we might feel a bit vulnerable, or that people will take advantage of us. So we end up being like telling a story, portraying a story. And I had a new word today about that. It's impressions, like giving the wrong impression or feeling like you're giving the wrong impression, based on how aligned we are and how much we are embracing our true self. So that's what today is all about. Well, our show.
It is like on this, my sense is that having the show on Valentine's Day makes it extra powerful, because this is about us. This is about the story we tell about ourselves, the way we look at ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and how we are so much more than all of that. And that's available to us. So we are the gift, and we are the giver of the gift to ourselves.
Absolutely. And I have to bring this down to the most basic things, especially because you just said how we look at ourselves. Because being at Valentine's Day, I don't really do too much. I like to do exactly what we're talking about. Just offer that extra sparkle of love. And I thought, well, I'm going to wear it. Well, I wear pink a lot, but I'm going to wear pink, and I got all this little outfit, this cute little outfit, and I looked at myself and I went, I just don't feel like I'm giving the impression that nobody's even seeing me today, but it's funny. Nobody's going to, and I thought, but I'm seeing myself and I want to feel really good. So you know what? I busted out my fancy, blingy, crystally little Michael Kors heels, and I put those little gray tennis shoes right back.
My goodness. I wish we could have just a little thumbnail of what you look like.
And then I thought about it, giving the wrong impression. That can be an imposter story, because we can feel like, ooh, that's not me. Ooh, that's not how I'm feeling right now. And
this I feel is really important that for ditching the imposter story and embracing your true self. There's no, like, why was I judging that I could wear heels or not today and sparkly blingy things? So I kept, that was a light and fluffy
Yeah,
Lisa
and you
story.
did that for you. You did that for you. I mean, sure, your boyfriend may or may not appreciate that at some point, but you did it for you. That was loving for you. You love pink. You are the pink woman, so you love pink, and so that made you feel happy. I am actually wearing kind of like a dusty rose kind of color with a little pinker sweater than I normally wear. So I'm in that shade today too. So we're matching, but we don't see each other. But we see each other in the heart.
Yes,
and,
it vibrates. I love feeling that color, and oh my goodness. Well, I will go into reading this beautiful, our show description, which really sets the tone and brings up some questions that we can ask ourselves as we explore this, and as I tune in to feeling the vibration of the listeners and asking Noemi to gracefully channel for us and see what messages come through. So ditch the imposter story and embrace your true self. However, have you ever found yourself not fitting in, feeling like you don't belong, or even uncomfortable in your own skin? This feeling of unsteadiness and insecurity can leave us feeling like an imposter in our own lives. We start to tell ourselves an imposter story, which can be as subtle as saying, things are fine, when they're not. This story can cause us to keep ourselves small, hold ourselves back, and when we're ready for growth, and deny that we even have grown. Ooh, we're still coming back to that one. We slip into the role of an imposter character, which isn't us. It's simply a story we tell ourselves and others. If you ever feel like an imposter in your life, look at the story you're telling yourself. That story takes you out of alignment with your true self, which is who you are deep inside. The story is the imposter, not you. And you can tell that story without realizing it, especially when you're growing and you're not yet comfortable in who you're becoming or ready to redefine yourself. The imposter story is like a mask that we habitually wear without awareness, and it presents us to the world and ourselves as smaller and in a dimmer light. It also prevents us from being fully who we are. Ditching the imposter story is not only about writing a new, more empowering story. Unless you remove the mask to reveal your true essence, you'll feel like an imposter. Oh, sorry. Let's do that again. Unless you remove the mask to reveal your true essence, you will feel like an imposter in the new rewritten story. That's a big one. When you embrace who you truly are, you are empowered to live the real story of you and change what doesn't serve you. And that was the big one, because you know what, we can rewrite it all we want. We'll put something new, but unless we remove that mask, I hate to say this, but we're putting lipstick on the piggy wiggy, right? So
you don't like Miss Piggy, huh?
Oh, poor Miss Piggy. And I love that we highlighted there that Noemi, it's not just like, oh, you're lying or faking or thing. You could have already grown, but you're just not quite comfortable. Have you ever experienced that in the most recent time?
In the most recent time, yeah, actually, my social media presence, it's how shall we say, variable, and so lately it was. Sometimes I'd go weeks. I'd share the replay link, and sometimes we'd have 3 weeks in between because we seem to have a lot of 5 Monday months. And I wasn't really sharing anything or not even reading much, and I know, there's so much yummy, good stuff there. And so I felt like, what is this? I'm being this like introverted hermit and not sharing myself. So I decided that sharing myself is me, because it is. I'm sort of like that ambivert kind of person, or maybe the extroverted introvert, or whatever, if you slap some labels on me. But I felt like, okay, I am going to share. I am going to share because I am receiving amazing wisdom from the divine, and just keeping it to myself, I don't experience the fullness of it if I channel it, write it in a notebook, shut the notebook, and then run off to my day. And so I'm going to share nuggets. And in doing so, I just feel so much more expanded and opened up. I'm people are being reached and sharing that what I've shared, and there's these just little short quotations are really helpful. So I really was living this, I'm an introvert, and I work with so many people. I need my downtime. I don't need to reach out. I don't need to recharge that way. I'll just sit here with the divine in my little shell. And as I started to do, but I was feeling like disconnected. I was feeling one day I was feeling lonely, and I thought, that's interesting. I mean, I used to feel lonely decades ago all the time, but it's a rare thing now. And I was like, oh, I'm not sharing myself, even with myself, So.
Yes. You said disconnected. That was the word that jumped out, because the imposter story, when it is being told and so frequently, we feel that disconnection. Because it's almost like, I want to say sad, because there's the true essence there. We want to embrace ourselves, but every time we're telling that imposter story, it's highlighting the disconnection, the disconnected to ourselves, and we crave that. We are aware of it, when it's missing, and yet so that every time you tell the story, have you told the story and you think some of those details might be embellished, or they're not like somebody invites you to go somewhere and you do really want to go, but you know what, you've gained 15 pounds and there's nothing to wear in your closet, so you're like, no, I don't want to go anyways, it's not going to be fun, but really you do, but you're just uncomfortable. And so we tell the story and we can feel it inside, how it's not exactly true.
Oh, we know it, It's like, and sometimes other people know it too. But
yes,
sometimes other people who know us well are like, yeah, no, you're not going not because you're not interested, because you love this kind of event,
yes.
but you're not going because you're not comfortable. And it's okay to go even if you're not comfortable. As you start to love yourself a little more and accept yourself a little more,
yes,
it's easier to go in the discomfort.
You just made a room full of people. Let's say, okay, there's a room full of 100 people, and 100 people are telling the imposter story. Okay, so they're all there, they're all telling the imposter story, and now you walk in, and we can feel it. So what does that do does that disconnect all of us, or because we aren't connected to our truths? And now imagine stepping into a room where everybody's ditched the imposter story and they're all embracing themselves. Like, can you imagine that feeling? Like, the energy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I actually did a workshop years ago called Insight, and it was called, they had 3 or 4 of them. I think this one, the second one, called Awakening the Heart. So you start with the imposter story, you tell it at the beginning, and you tell it ad nauseum. They have this thing called a cocktail party, and you're walking around telling your imposter story, and everybody else is telling theirs, and you have to do this for like an hour, and I couldn't tolerate it. It was just so awful.
Wow.
And then you have to really dig deep and find out what that truth is. And and I had my whole imposter story personified, and with a certain bird and this and that, and it was just all of this this stuff, and it was really opening to actually embrace. And then we wrote a statement about who we really are, and we had to say it 100 times a day, and I did that for years. It was
Wow.
Yeah, something like I'm a woman of beauty, joy, and courage, fully embracing myself and life, and joyfully healing with love and light, or something like that. And when I first wrote it, I was like, gag. They go, yep, that's it. So it was such a great experience. I mean, I did this Insight seminars, probably 20 years ago, but it was more than 20 years ago. It was such a great experience to actually step into that, and everybody was like, yes, you are, when you share your story. So that was really a validating experience. But the going around and sharing that imposter story of just like over and over and over again it really made you not want to tell that story again.
Yes. And what's so funny is that imposter story that we're telling at that time, we have to, when we identify, like you said, dig deep to find out where it came from. Other people, so our parents might have given us that imposter story. Our teachers at school, like, oh, they're such a good kid, or they're such a, they get D's all the time, or like the people of influence in our lives, right from we're little. We're getting all these stories, and then we maybe didn't even create the imposter story. We could have been handed it and just believed because we heard it 100 times a day.
Yes, and then we start to integrate that. We start to take it in, and we start to then we start to see it in our experience. Oh, yep, there it is,
Yes.
My sister Ruth was the creative one. She was the artistic one. And, the only class I almost ever failed in my life was art in ninth grade. And, and I believed that. I told the woman, I'm the smart one and the athletic one. I don't have any art genes.
Right.
I told that to the teacher. And she says, well, you will have art genes if you intend to pass this class and graduate from junior high school. I was just like, oh, no.
You were defending the imposter story.
Ooh,
It's invalidating.
yes. And I was trying to look for some kind of special dispensation because of it. But I don't have art genes. I don't have this capacity. I don't have the ability. Buy into it for me. Give me some kind of special, just,
Yes.
pass me in this class. And so it was very interesting how we also endorse. I know we have to go to commercial, but we also endorse that story. Ooh. And we make it our own, and we embellish it in whatever way, but it becomes our story, and it's not the true story of who we are, but we go wearing that story through life for decades, maybe.
Yes. Okay. So, and on that note, so when we come back from commercial break, I can feel where this is going to go. I'm going to bring up what can help bridge us from, as we ditch that story into it. How do we identify the real true essence? How do we bridge that, and what can be used to do it? When we come back to Access to Angels and Grace.
Mm-hmm. Do the pre-channel message when we start.
Oh, yes, yes.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes. Co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Rosalind Fung of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalindfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Oh, welcome back, everybody, to Access to Angels and Grace. Noemi and I are so happy to be here. And what we love to do during the show, well, pre-show, I should say, is we have our little chat. We tune into the vibration of what's going on and what fun things we would love to just get in touch and get clarity on from Source or the Divine. And that's where Noemi comes in, because she is really good at this. And so,
oh, thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, so I receive. So it's not I do.
Oh.
I do record. I receive and record what Lisa likes to call the pre-channeled message. So it's the starting point of the conversation with Source about the topic that Lisa and I feel really strongly to share and to develop. So it seems like a good time, since usually we do this before the commercial, but we're going to start now, right after the commercial, and I will read what is the pre-channeled message. That starting point of the conversation with Source. And I gave it a title called, Will You Choose to Sing in Harmony with Life? Many of you feel like imposters in your own lives, and we have observed that when some of you are blessed with new opportunities and the fulfillment of your deepest dreams, that you do not wholeheartedly embrace those gifts. You feel unworthy or not up to the task or the expectations you think others will hold of you. You think of yourself as too small for the life which is presenting itself to you and inviting you to live it. Your perception of yourself as small hinders you from fully stepping into the best life that you can live and to the fulfillment of your heart's desires. Some of you who have experienced and welcomed a growth spurt of abundance, blessings, healings, or any other positive aspects in your lives may find that you no longer fit into the life that you have been living. You may perceive yourself to be an imposter because you are no longer feel at home in your life, and you are living a life that is no longer you. You may also feel guilty, trapped, or disempowered by the life you are living. So you see, you can judge yourself to be an imposter in your life if you feel too small or if you have outgrown aspects of your life. You may also reach a point in which your life does not match the picture or expectations you had for yourself. You may even think you're not living the life you should be living. And again, in this case, you perceive that you do not fit into your life. This is another example of how you label yourself as an imposter. And when you think of being an imposter, that holds an emotional charge. And together, the thought and the emotion keep you from living fully and being fully you. You are never an imposter in your own life, but your life may need some adjusting to match who you've become and to resonate with the truth of who you are. The imposter syndrome, as you call it, the sense of being an imposter in your own life, of not belonging where you are, keeps you wanting something more or different, and may even cause you to contract in your life. Your life may seem too big for you, too small for you, or not right for you. And then you feel like the imposter or outsider in your life. And this keeps you from fully enjoying life and making the changes in life that would lead to more joy and fulfillment. You are where you are now, yet life beckons you to become more of you, to choose what causes you to resonate with the truth of who you are and what makes your heart sing. Your life is singing a song to you, a song of expansion, growth, learning, upliftment, healing, and abundance. Life is singing a precious song that is uniquely for you and resonates deeply with the truth of who you are. Will you choose to sing in harmony with life by stepping more fully into who you are and stepping out of what no longer serves you and doesn't resonate with the truth of you? Life is waiting for your willingness to fully align with who you are and shed the imposter images and thoughts from your minds, behaviors, and choices. Choose to align more with the truth of you every day, and you will be surprised at how much more at home you are in your life as you choose to embrace what resonates most fully with the truth of who you are, and you choose to leave the imposter and all its diminishing thoughts and behaviors behind. A great journey awaits you away from imposterhood to the freedom of fully being you, and we await your willingness and choice to be of service to yourself in this way. In great love, we are complete. Namaste.
Beautiful. Oh, there's some hot points in there.
Yeah.
I love the harmony. I love that, Source brought in music and singing and harmony. And a really big key on the key for the harmony word is we often will say align, right? Align with your true self, align this. But harmony is so interesting because harmony is, in fact, not the exact same and not aligned. It's complementing. It's
yes, you sing in harmony. Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked how that came up. And the funny thing too came up with the word labels, labeling. We ourselves label others. We label ourselves. Labels, right? So we're trying to identify it, but often the label that's the imposter story.
Yes, because we're really too unique and diverse to have one small label attached to us. You are this, she is that, he is that, I mean, that might be an aspect of who we are, and it may be completely not who we are, but we are bigger than that label. And so, yes, anytime you label yourself, unless it's something like, who are you? Okay, one of the things I am is a mother or something like that, a wife, but watch those labels too, because we tend to over-identify with the labels. And then we see ourselves as only those labels, and then we measure ourselves to the labels, and then you're not a good enough mother, you're not a good enough healer or whatever it is, So the labels, they can't. We're unique. We can't just be boxed into a label.
Yes.
And that's not all of us. It may be an aspect of us, an attribute of us, but we're more than that label. So when you use the label, when you say you're a wife or a mother or a husband or a friend, or recognize that's a piece of who you are. That's a small portion of who you are, because you're so much bigger.
Yes, and I like that. It's just a piece of you. So one of the biggest imposter stories that comes up, and in different ways for everybody, but the overriding, the umbrella of this is the imposter story might read, I'm not worth it, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it, I'm not capable. And I'm feeling that's being one of them that perhaps we could have you get a little more clarity and dive deeper on this one. So if the imposter story is, I don't deserve it, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, what?
Okay, I like that. I'm not capable. I hear that a lot with clients when they say, I think I have imposter syndrome. And I say, well, why do you say that? And they say, I'm not capable of I got a promotion. I'm not capable. They're going to find out. Or,
yes,
pregnant, not capable of being a good parent. They're going to find out, So it's that also there's this fear of exposure that goes along, that you're going to be found out. You're going to be discovered as the imposter.
Yes, and that's why I was really feeling that energy, because I wrote down capable, the role. Oops, I can't read my writing. It's okay. You're seeing yourself. Oh yeah, the leading role, to be the leader in that area of that, something that an opportunity has come your way. Like you said, you've become pregnant. You've got a new job role, that's been offered. You've all these things, and you think, I'm not capable. But the gentleness that's needed there, of course, is you can grow into it. You're not supposed to be perfect at it. So
exactly. The hermit crab gets a new shell. You grow into it. You're not So I'm not capable means I'm not confident in doing this. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. You don't have the confidence. You grow into the confidence by demonstrating to yourself that you are capable, by allowing yourself to step into that bigger you, that bigger position in life, and be with the imperfection of it, because there's this perfect. A lot of times the imposter story goes along with this perfectionism, like I need to be perfect at it the first time out,
Yes.
and you're not going to be. And
Giving it your best is different than being perfect. and there's a
Exactly.
big thing there. And I love that you said the word exposed. So maybe I think that's where we would love some clarity around. That's
Yeah,
the one to dive
okay.
deeper in is, how can we...
the divine is
Yeah.
chomping at the bit. So
Okay.
give them the direction.
Yes. So going from I'm not capable and being, I'm afraid of being exposed, to how can we best understand or learn or explore that it's more a matter of, this is an opportunity to grow into this and to feel good about that and feel the confidence in just the trying of it.
So kind of shift the way we're seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna, in case this is your first time listening, I'm just gonna grab a swig of water and just gonna get silent. I'm being aware of the justing in my life, you know. So it's just there we go again. How much it diminishes. That's a little impostery, you know. Unless I said I just took the cake out of the oven because the oven went ding,
Timing.
you know. but other than that, yeah, if it's not timing, then it's a diminishment. So I am going to take a swig of water, get silent, deepen my connection with the divine, and turn it over to them, and just wow, and receive and be a channel for that. And just as my imposter story today, it is coming up. So awareness
Live in
is
action
so important.
here.
Live in action. So let me go, because we might be a minute or two late for commercial. Let's take that
right,
swig
yes.
now.
Okay.
Hello, divine. So grateful that you can help us with this. We live with this so much in our lives, these stories, and the I'm not capable, and I might, you know, fail, the fear of exposure. And how can we transform that? How can we see it in a different light so that we can shed light and step into the light and the light of who we are? And we like where you're going with this question. We love this question. And we appreciate the opportunity to share once again with you all. And it is that stance that you hold of not being enough, which is a self-protective stance. We understand that you're trying to protect yourself. We're not trying to diminish yourself intentionally, although you do wind up diminishing yourself. You are in a self-protective stance just in case you are unable to do what is required. That is the way you see it. And it is not all or nothing. It is the ability, the willingness. The willingness is so key. The willingness to step forward and step up into something that beckons you, into something that is opening for you, like parenthood and growth at the job, or a new relationship, or a relationship that's going deeper. It is such a beautiful opportunity for you to step into something that you can't master initially on day one. But you have been told that if you can't do it well, then don't do it at all. And it is in the doing, and we put the doing in quotes because we understand your life as a life of being that grows into doing, a being that expands, and in that expansion you do. And so, but you are focused, so many of you, on the doing. So if you look at doing and you see, and you believe and you think, not sure I can do it, then in order to save yourself from that perception of failure, you say, I'm not up to the task. I'm not good enough. I'm not able. I'm going to screw up. You say these things as a sort of self-protective mechanism. Self-fulfilling prophecy is what it is. And so you may wind up not demonstrating the capability that you have within you, because you are all so capable. Dive deep into the heart of you. We offer you a connection which is most experienced for most of you in meditation. A connection to us, to your source, a connection to the deepest part of you, a connection to all that is, and that connection to all the help that you have spiritually. Oh, and even to become aware of the help that you have in physical form. And so knowing that it is not about perfection, no one is grading you, that sometimes the biggest learnings, the greatest growth spurts come out of tripping and stumbling and then getting up. And that it is perfectly okay, beyond okay. If that is what it takes for you to open up, then embrace it. Be willing for it. Open up to receive you. And when you receive you, you expand into you. You are beyond capable, beyond worthy, beyond able. All that presents itself in your life, you are all that and so much more. And yet, as a human, you have learned to diminish and you have learned to fear. You have learned to fear being more because you have learned to not, the fear of failing, the fear of falling, the fear of not being perfect in this. So allowing yourself the gift to be with what is presenting itself, knowing that you do not need to be perfect, expecting that you will not be perfect, and seeing instead of focusing on that need to excel and be perfect and achieve and have it all work out, focus on the opportunity, on the growth, on the expansion, and I'm growing. I'm stepping into this. My life is growing. I have this opportunity for a new job or a new role in life, and seeing that as expansion. And in expansion is not perfection. You have reached a level of sufficiency, a level of expansiveness in your own personal space now. And so something new is awakening, and you're not feeling that level of sufficiency. You're recognizing the expansiveness and seeing, I don't match that. Well, you do. You just haven't shown it to yourself yet. You haven't experienced it yet, but it is inside you. Everything you need is inside you and in your connection with us. And we are so grateful to continue to be here to support you in every way possible. We are able to support every single one of you in many more ways than you imagine. Are you listening, Noemi Grace? Yes. We are here for all of you. All of you. And all of you are so much more than you can ever imagine. And you will always be able to grow into more of you. In great love, we are complete. Namaste.
Beautiful. And with that, we'll go to our commercial break, and I have to jump back into growth spurts when we come back.
Sweet.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business by tuning in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. Join me for your light language activation, and let's magnetize and monetize.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
My volume wouldn't come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back after that commercial break. During that channeled message, Noemi, a lot came up, and it did even before, but growth spurts and expansion is not perfection.
Yes, that's the thing that stuck out for me. This is about expansion, but we're and that we've expanded that already. We've expanded. We've expanded already, and that's why this new expansion is being offered. We've expanded. We've been comfortable in our lives. We've been confident. We've reached a place where we're comfortable, and now there's something new, and it's about expansion, not perfection. Oh,
yeah,
how nice is that?
And I was imagining that going, we've been handed this new thing, or we're not handed, but we've come into this place where, wow, we have grown. And then, but we might say, ooh, but that's not me, or it feels uncomfortable, it feels wrong. And so we want to retreat because we're feeling exposed. There's that word again. Mm-hmm. And so this is an opportunity. Well, this is actually where we could really, start going off key and not in harmony, or to sing in harmony. So if we say, yeah, this feels good, I'm going to lean into it a little bit more and get some confidence, or we can completely just say no, and then we start telling an imposter story of like, no, it's not me because of all these things. And so one of the things that I was feeling is that if we're wondering, like, okay, have I grown? Is that why I'm feeling unsteady, or is it just wrong? Like, they can't quite identify it. Could we use our language? If we looked at what kind of language, like what you were saying, you used just, and it's a diminishing word.
And they came through with just, and I started to laugh. I was like, I said, am I justing the divine? I had this moment, this like blip, because in the first few sentences there is a just, and I don't believe there's any more just. I think I was listening for the just, and I was just like, I'm justing the divine.
You're so justing in there. And so it's lovely that you are using like your observation of language. And so that was where it's kind of a question to be maybe perhaps channeled, but it's also a Noemi question, is that I used to say the word little. Oh, I'm just going to get a little pen. Just going to do a little thing. Little, because I was diminishing it in like, I'm going to be quick. I'm not going to take up your time. It's just going to be a little thing. And I could feel like I was obsessed with that word, and then it became a bad habit. But I can see it's a different kind of thing, a diminishment, but it's there. So
yes, but it is feeling little.
I am not enough that you
not
wait
enough
for me.
That don't want to impose. Can I take a little of your time? Do you have a little time for me? So it is that recognition and that of how we all use that language. Language is so vitally important. Lisa and I, we both love language.
Yes.
the power of words and the vibration of words. And it is so important to listen to your own language so you can catch yourself. If you listen, I was throwing in just, some people throw in a lot of likes and kindas and things like that. And that is all a subtle diminishment. It's like, I want. And so to listen to that language and to be attuned to what is coming out of our mouths, because a lot of times we really don't actually listen to all the words. We listen to the conglomeration of the words, the message, the sort of what is we're trying to say, but not necessarily to every word.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a big thing too. Is if we can even borrow, we'll witness other people. If it's you have a little bit of a hard time tuning into yourself at first, when people speak, they really are sharing what their position, like what story they are presenting. I remember listening to a speaker years ago, and I thought, I'm not a fan of this speaker. I loved the person, and I knew that person, but whenever they spoke, they did so many eyes, and I thought, wow, I feel like disconnected here. It felt really spotlight story. But then there's other people who definitely, especially I have some women friends who they're in their relationship, they won't ever say how they feel. Well, my husband thinks this, or my boyfriend thinks this. Well, he says this about me. I'm like, well, who cares what he says about? Well, we care, but we're like, what do you care? So we can also even. If we witness what other people, and maybe would it be helpful if we tuned into how we feel about that, and do we recognize it? Like, well, how can we, there's a question, how can we use our witnessing and observations of others to help recognize ourselves and what the story is that we're telling? Is it that we're looking for their response, or how they're speaking, see if it is in harmony with ours, or if we're picking up on it?
So, repeat the question again, please.
How can we, if we're not yet comfortable or don't know how to look at our own language and own story to figure out where a story is it helpful to look at others and use that as feedback? Because we learn about ourselves through our relationships. I mean, that's why.
Oh, absolutely. Relationships bring the greatest joy and the greatest hurts too, and the greatest wounds.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I would just say before we go, I check with the divine, but it's what I've learned from the divine is that when we look at others and we look at ourselves, look with eyes of love, look without the judgment. Because if we look at others and somebody's saying, I. So there was a time I had a few students when I was studying, when I was apprenticing with the shaman, and I had a few students, and one of them wasn't, when we would talk, that's what he would say, I. And one time, and we had a 2-hour session, I counted the 57 I's or something like that, and I said, go a whole day without I. That is your challenge. That is your homework. And without saying the word I, because then we wind up in our ego without realizing. Obviously, we have to use the word I.
Yes.
But when it is the perception, that is the lens that we're seeing everything through, is if I is coming out of our mouth. And so that's why probably for you, Lisa, you were uncomfortable. You were not feeling resonance with that speaker whom you love that was full of I. And
full of
so, and we've all been full of I. It's not that there's no judgment there. I've certainly been full of I at different points in my life. So when we look towards others, others are the mirror. They hold the mirror.
Yes.
So we can see in ourselves through looking at them what we can't see in ourselves, or are unwilling to see in ourselves. So holding the mirror is fine. But don't then point out the wrinkles and the grays and the, look, you have a wrinkle.
Yes, that's exactly got the question there. How can we look into the mirror with eyes of love?
The mirror of relationship. And what is and see what there is to see within us.
Yes. And the mirror being relationships, other people here. So how can we look into the mirror with eyes of love and get more clarity around what our truest self is, which we're trying to embrace?
Yes. Okay. Quick swig. I'm going to.
We know you get your water in.
yes. But there's this sort of story that's coming in and going, you're behind. You're running late. You're usually here 5 minutes earlier than this. And it's perfect timing. It is that perfect timing, right? That's the imposter story. I should have had my channeled message already be coming out. No, it is perfect timing. And that's something that we need to learn, that the universe's timing is always perfect. And I don't always say that, but it is what I've been told to learn. And so I'm diving in, to the divine, to source, to the well of source. And asking how you can help us to use this mirror of relationship to see what is there to see for us, to see with eyes of love, both the other person and ourselves. And we love this question. Questions about seeing through eyes of love. We wrote a whole book with Noemi Grace about seeing through eyes of love and embracing the lens of love, the filter of love in your life. And so others do offer the mirror to you. Sometimes they're holding it up very clearly and saying, look, in their actions towards you, in their stance towards you. And so if you can recognize that others give you the opportunity to see yourself in a new light, not to see yourself in a light of judgment, but to see those parts of you that are needing more love, that are needing more growth, that are yearning to be expressed. It is both with those parts that you like to diminish and the parts that feel too augmented. It is both what you would label good and bad, and we don't use those labels ever. But it is those parts of you that have not had a warm reception, that you are not fully encouraging and embracing and bringing out into your life. They are shown through the mirror of relationship. And so understanding that you are all mirrors for each other, and whatever comes through in a relationship is so easy to take personally. It is so easy to feel the pain, because the relationship is where it offers you the depth to grow, more growth, more expansion into more stepping into who you are. And it also offers you the possibility of contraction because of fear. And when you contract, do not judge yourself. Recognize you chose from fear. And the other choice is to choose from love. To choose what is expanding you into more of you is to always choose from love. And so recognizing that relationships are a gift that offers this to you, that you can see yourself in a new light, a deeper light, a different light, not to judge yourself, not to reject yourself, not to judge them or reject them, but to embrace both yourself and them, and to embrace what you see that you have not fully embraced yet, and to be willing to be with those parts of you and to love them. No part of you is undeserving of love. You are all deserving of love, all of you, every part of you deserving so much love, so much grace, so much upliftment, so much expansion. And so, yes, our theme is expansion today. Expand beyond the story you've been telling. Expand beyond the imperfection of the mind and the imperfection of what you perceive in your life circumstances. Expand beyond what limits you in relationships, whether it is something you have chosen to limit yourself in, or whether you feel that it is coming from another person, but yet you have stepped into it. You have agreed to it on some level. Take judgment out of relationship and step before the mirror and look. If there is no judgment, what do you see that is calling you to expand into, to embrace, to be of greater service to yourself and others? With so much more to say, we are complete in this brief transmission and welcome the opportunity for more. Great love. Namaste.
Ooh, great timing too, and some goodies in there. I love that. And really, I think that's what it is. As we ditch the imposter story to embrace our true selves, it is about expansion. And that's the things that the worst story we could tell ourselves and others is that we are not capable of expanding, or that we haven't, or we don't deserve it. And so I thought that was just so beautiful.
Yeah, their focus today is expansion. And so that whole why to ditch the imposter story, because it limits your expansion. It keeps you from expanding, and that you are bigger than that. Expand into who you really are, not into something that you're not. Let me expand into, so it's not quite like the hermit crab that grabs somebody else's shell and is trying to expand into that. Expand into who you really are already, that you haven't embraced.
I love it. I love it. And see how beautiful that is. And it just fell into perfect timing, in harmony, and wonderful. And on this Valentine's Day, I know that Noemi, you and I both were talking about and saying, you know what, this is, we start off saying, let this day be a day, just a reminder to have that self-care, to embrace yourself and do something just kind and loving and gentle and every day. But today's just a nice little reminder. So happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And Noemi.
Yes, Happy Love Day. That's what we call it in this house.
Yes.
Happy Love Day. Remember to love yourself. Embrace yourself. Expand into you, to more of you. So grateful for this opportunity, and we invite you to come back in 2 weeks on the 28th, on the final day of February, and for more expansion and love.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Noemi. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye.
Bye.